3 Points of Articulation podcast. Hello, welcome to the 3 Points of Articulation podcast predictions. I'm joined as per normal. That's not Gretchen from Recess next to me. That's Adam the Wrestling Man.
Yeah, that's over my head. No idea who that is. Oh,
she wears a beanie hat and has her hair. I'll send you a picture. It's quite funny. I'm a host of the Big Taste of Jerry Wills, and we're doing some predictions for Hell in a Cell 2021. Hell in a Cell in June. Who would have thought it? We only had one in October, but yeah, strange. Anyway, just as a disclosure, Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio was on SmackDown rather than Hell in a Cell because they realised that 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one event was too many. Start off, Adam, have you been following the weekly programmes for these?
Pretty much results at the moment. I can't get back into it. The storylines are too dire, let's just say, at the moment. I'm struggling to get the energy to watch even the highlights at the moment, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, a bit of a long and drawn out affair for it. But speaking of long and drawn out, let's start off with our first match. Cesaro versus Rollins. Started feuding before Mania. Had a match at Mania. You think, that's it. Cesaro gets his win. No, they've had about 3 or 4 matches since, and it's just an absolute shambles. And he's attacked him. Cesaro's been put in hospital. They've come back. Well, who are you picking?
So let's just face this fact. Cesaro is never, ever, ever going to be put higher than Rollins in the long run of things. Just never, ever going to happen. So therefore, Rollins needs the victory.
Yeah, I was 50-50 on this one. Cesaro could win, and he could take the sort of the brass ring that he's always wanted, or Rollins could be set up for a match with Edge at SummerSlam. So yeah, it's 50-50 in my eyes, which means it's time for one thing: the duck race. Let's kick us off early with a duck race, and let's have a look and see who we've got. So Cesaro has taken the lead, which normally means that Rollins is going to win if that happens. Oh, there we are. I
was going to say that happens every time.
Almost, yeah, pretty much every time. There's never a foregone conclusion with that. So Seth Rollins, my pick, which I probably would have picked anyway, truth be told. It makes sense storyline-wise, and it sets up a big match at SummerSlam where Cesaro will just face some bum, or he'll face Apollo for the title, more than likely. Jono, who did Jono go for?
Jono has also completed the 3 by going for Rollins.
Lovely. Full disclosure, I forgot to say, Jono's not here. There's only 2 of us this week. I've completely missed out on my intro. Jono can be with us because we had to record on the Saturday eve. So yeah, can't make it tonight. So we're doing the picks off his picks that he sent to us individually. I've got the women. Adam has the men. Next up, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. This has been built up for the last, it feels like 50 years, isn't it? The recent encounter, I think it was a tag team match on SmackDown last night where General Aziz and Apollo Crews were having a tag team match with Kevin Owens and someone else in that little feud. So that's the one. Sami Zayn interfered in the match. Kevin Owens demanded a match, and what he asked for, he gets. So another Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match. I'll kick us off. I think Kevin Owens will win this one again, just to make it 73-1.
I'm genuinely gutted by this match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have some of the best chemistry in the WWE. Yes, they have fought each other loads of times. When they fight each other, it deserves to be more. It deserves to be special. And this thrown together matchup, I can only assume this means that probably one of them's going to Raw, maybe, to kind of, give them this one last hurrah. Both of these need the victory, so it's quite a difficult one, this one, to be honest. If I was going to do a duck race, this would probably be it. But I've just about gone for Owens on this one.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? I think Owens is getting on a bit. Sami Zayn's reformed his character a few times. Owens just brought in a new finisher. So I think it's about time that Sami Zayn went to Raw and revamped his character a bit more on that. Who has Jonathan gone for?
Jonathan's gone for Sami.
Ooh.
So different to us two on this one. Like I said, though, it could go either way, this one. We just don't know why they're fighting. And when you have a match where you don't really know why they're going at it, there's something bound to happen.
Yeah, it's one of those things where would you rather have 5 matches on the card or 6 matches with Owens versus Zayn again on there?
I can see Zayn going back to NXT, to be honest, because that's what he's kind of built for. He's built for the kind of independent type of style, and he can take this storyline of I was underappreciated on the Raw and SmackDown rosters, blah blah blah, and go to NXT. Maybe it might work for him.
I know. Well, about 3 years ago when they first started feuding, my original plan in my head was that they'll finally have a match for the world title with the two of them, and that will mean something. But as of yet, no, and they are getting on a bit. Bliss v Baszler. Storyline wise, it was just Alexa Bliss's doll has been messing with Shayna Baszler week in, week out, and then Shayna Baszler stood on her doll. And who's the audience for this match? Who are they aiming this storyline at? Because it can't be kids because it's relatively scary, and then you put it on after 9 o'clock. And it can't be adults because it's kids stuff, isn't it? Who are you going for, Adam?
It's the kind of adult kids, isn't it? It's the ones that will somehow get a kick out of this boring storyline, and it'll be like, "Oh, this is edgy, this is fun," and it's not, though, is it?
It's not. We're in the mentality of Shayna Baszler when she came back and was a bit of a beast at the Chamber last year and the Rumble and so on. That's the Shayna we want to see. We don't want to see this one messing around with Alexa Bliss. And why? Alexa Bliss is going to win. That's what I've gone for.
Yeah, I've gone for Bliss as well. Vince doesn't seem to like Baszler. I know she's always in the storylines, and to be fair, she always gets pay-per-view matches and stuff, so you can't say that he hates her, but he just doesn't seem to connect with her character, like you're saying. Doesn't seem to use her how she needs to be used. And Bliss, I really dislike it because The Fiend went nowhere. The Fiend was misused over and over again. If they do the same with Bliss, that's another person who was a fantastic character just eliminated basically from the weekly storylines, and that's why it's going downhill at the moment.
Definitely. So, yeah, Bliss. And Johnny's also gone Bliss just to complete the 3M Bliss. I think with Baszler, I think he saw someone to fill a Ronda Rousey-sized hole in the roster when he brought her up, and not done the job, really, is it? I think they just used her terribly. And, she should have won at Mania last year when they changed their character. Belair versus Bayley inside of the Hell in a Cell. Once again, this has gone on since before Mania. They've had a bit of a back and forth. They had a match at WrestleMania Backlash, and they've also had a storyline going forward as well. Too early for me for Belair to lose the title after a first run. I'm going to go with Belair on this one.
So first of all, I just want to say how disappointing Belair's title run has been. It's just been a nothing title run. I know a lot of people's first ones are kind of like that, and she has held it for a decent amount of time, but it's just been boring. It's just, Bayley has outshone her every step of the way during this title run, and it's not been forced. Like sometimes they will force somebody to outshine the champion, but this isn't forced. Bayley's just better. Bayley all the way.
Bayley / Brock Lesnar. If you saw the John has also gone for BB Bianca Belair. It's too early for me. I think they made a big mistake at Mania by crowning so many first-time champs and crowning so many long-awaited champions that it's just going to have a big lull now for the new champs potentially. Which leads us on to the Raw Women's title match: Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Nikki Cross has been thrown into the mix somehow into the storyline. Asuka's been knocking about in there. But ultimately, it comes down to these two. Can you bet against Flair in a title match at a pay-per-view against an up-and-coming star? No, you can't. I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair.
Can I just first say how disappointing Rhea Ripley's title run has been? Oh, this is deja vu. Yeah, both women massively disappointing in these new title runs. Rhea Ripley, especially for me, because she has everything that it needs to be absolutely top of the card, and just hasn't been. But saying that, because there's other people still in the mix, like you say, Nikki Cross, Asuka on the fringe, I'm gonna go Ripley, and I'm going to make it lead to some kind of fatal four-way at SummerSlam.
Where they book the champion to stay strong by Nikki Cross getting pinned. Makes sense. Yeah, it's just a very strange one. Johnny's also gone for Rhea Ripley on there, so 2 against 1. But yeah, it's just peculiar booking, really. I'm not sure why they've put Nikki Cross into the mix. 0 cents on there. Yeah, let's move on to the men's match. It's just been called the Last Chance Hell in a Cell match. So apparently it's the last chance Drew McIntyre gets at old Robert Lashley. Once again, this has gone on since, probably since Bobby Lashley won the title, wasn't it? At the match at Mania, the match at WrestleMania Backlash, and now this one. For me, Bobby Lashley retains only because of storylines going forward. It makes a lot more sense. I think Drew can fit in a storyline with pretty much anyone. If you look at anyone in the upper main card, Drew could have a good match with anyone and a good storyline. Whereas Bobby, I don't see that. I only see him going against sort of top tiers, i.e. Brock Lesnar potentially. So, yeah, Bobby Lashley for me.
Yeah, to be fair to both of these guys, they should be against each other still. Usually when people have faced each other again and again and again, I'm like, oh, I'm so bored. Like, somebody should be stepping in that place. But there's nobody else, really. Raw should be Lashley against McIntyre. McIntyre has retained his dominance, and Lashley has been a very strong champion, to be fair to WWE. I think this is the match where it's been booked well all the way through. I'm going to go Lashley to retain.
What's Jono gone for?
Jono's gone for Drew.
Could be a no contest. Maybe was it 3 out of the last 4 years? So one of those in a Hell in a Cell. I think one thing I'll note on this is Bobby Lashley's finisher. I don't think I've seen a submission move been used so well in the last few years as I have done for the Hurt Lock. Because normally I refer to Kurt Angle's ankle lock, but when that first started, it was quite good. And then after a while, they had the tussle where people will be in it for 3-4 minutes before reaching the ropes, sitting the crossface. Whereas this, as soon as it's on, they either pass out or they tap out. And it's great submission booking, I think. Even with Reigns' guillotine, they're in that for a good 4 or 5 minutes before passing out. So well else WWE on booking a good finishing move.
So if you think that Lashley's going to win, where does this go for McIntyre?
I think there's going to be some sort of shenanigans on there.
Whether there's shenanigans or not, he's not going to get at the top. So where does it take him?
Well, we got a draft coming up, so I think there's going to be a big hill coming over from that. So I'm going to go with Baron Corbin coming over to Raw. He's just lost his crown. He's going to be on a bit of a tear. So I'd say Baron Corbin's going to come over to Raw with a feud with Drew McIntyre. It's got to be someone in the mid-upper card for me. So if Kofi Kingston doesn't join the Hurt Locker, it will be him. It won't be him, but it will be if he does join the Hurt Locker. So,
do you mean the Hurt Business here, Jamie?
Yes, the Hurt Locker is a film starring Mark Wahlberg in 2004. About as explosive as this match is going to be, I will say. But yeah, for me, I just can't see Drew McIntyre winning the belt, and I can't see any storylines going forward. If the rumours are true about John Cena coming back, that's Roman Reigns booked out for the summer. So I have to wait and see. Where do you see Drew going if he doesn't win?
Into a kind of upper mid battle. Like you say, there's people going to be joining the roster soon. I know last night on SmackDown there was 2 dark matches beforehand. Bronson Reed was against Bobby Roode, I think, and Karrion Kross was against Dolph Ziggler. Apparently they were having a look at Reed and Kross, and they're coming back. Well, Kross definitely is coming back next week for another dark appearance, maybe a promo. So there's definitely people stepping up to the plate where Drew could definitely be the victim of somebody big and new.
Yeah, we said it before, didn't we, that WWE are looking at NXT talents to bring up because, well, let's be honest, they're cheap and they're on long contracts. So if you can bring up Karrion Kross, who's on a fraction of the cost of Sheamus is on pay-per-view bonus, then you're going to bring up Karrion Kross, and that's going to be a bigger draw for me watching Kross versus Drew than it is watching Drew versus Sheamus all over again. So it makes sense, doesn't it? If you can bring someone up for a fraction of the price. I feel a bit bad for Gargano, who's just going to stay on NXT though, whilst all this new talent's been flooded in. But
he's always said he wanted to stay.
Yeah, I guess so. And he's got a new faction down there, hasn't he? But it'll be interesting to see where they go. And I think we need it. I think we need a flush through of NXT talent. Adam Cole. Something. Yeah, Adam Cole coming to one of the main rosters will certainly put eyes on it again.
Karrion Kross worries me because I don't think it's been built up as much as needed in NXT. And, we saw what happened with Aleister Black. So...
Yeah, watch the Fatal 5-Way match from last week. He was the weakest looking person in the whole match. If you watch it, the other four knew their roles really well and they played their roles really well. He just looked like a fish out of water. If I'm honest, if you watch him, he was slow, clumpy, didn't look like he knew what he was doing. The other four looked fantastic. So maybe that's why they're moving him up. We're going to make room for smaller guys, but it's not for a different time. So that's predictions in the bag for Hell in a Cell. Money in the Bank, I believe, is next. So I might see you guys then. And I hope you join me with us as well. But Adam, thanks for your picks.
Peace out.
Gretchen, I should say. Another pick.